The finals for the 1995 Big Bud Shootout saw Cruz Pedregon go up against Al Hoffman. Hoffman ended up getting the win. Cruz was going to get to the finals this year. He's going to have to go up against Al Hoffman once again. Could he get past him? You are on board with Al Hoffman as he backs up the Western Auto Parts America Haviland Pontiac. And in the other lane, just outside that front windshield, you see Cruz Pedregon. An awesome sight when you're running for the Big Bud and you're strapped into that car.
Well, I'll tell you, sitting behind that 5,000 horsepower, 6,000 horsepower engine is a very exciting viewpoint, and you really can't see all that well. You get a lot of clutch dust and stuff in the car, tire smoke on the burnout. It's a pretty exciting ride.
Hey, Bob, you know, if Al Hoffman and the gang want to put to end the stories of Tom Anderson, the best way to do it is to keep advancing through the rounds.
Yeah, it's kind of put up or shut up time for those guys. They just wish a lot of the people would shut up about that. This is a good crew, very talented. They're going to go forward. It's going to take a great run. You're going to be in the 05-04 range, I think, if you want to get to fourth in the finals.
Cruz Pedregon and gang felt their car had handled pretty good in that first round. Felt pretty comfortable with it. Posting a 5.05 with a 3.01. They can duplicate that. They think that's enough to get past Al Hoffman. We'll find out here shortly. Cruz was out first. He slowed down to a 5.11, 295 to a losing 5.22, 294. I'm sorry, Al. I think they're going to talk a little bit longer about the crew. And Cruz Pedregon, I think, Frank, is going to have to be a little bit concerned about the fact that he slowed down and force got quicker.
Well, absolutely, and that's a trait of Austin Coyle, and you know it's going to get even cooler this afternoon for that final round, and heavens knows what's going to happen. Maybe Austin's going to put that thing in a fours, but I'll tell you, Settles and all the guys back in Cruz's pit area are going to be doing the same thing.
Here's the in-car with Al Hoffman. Hang on. You see Cruz is driving away from him.
You can be going 300 miles an hour in one of those cars, and with somebody running out in front, it doesn't look good from inside.
Well, thousands of fans are going to get exactly the matchup they wanted in the Big Bud Shootout final. John Force against the McDonald's man. You lost lane choice with an 11.
Yeah, I kind of, boy, my leg was cramping up going down through there, but we got the wind light. It's awful hot out there. We didn't want to beat ourselves. Hoffman's a tough competitor, but he did lose Tom Anderson as crew chief, so we just didn't want to beat ourselves. We can step the McDonald's car up. We're going to have a good show.
He's even still talking about the Anderson deal.
There's a look at the lane choice, and Cruz is going to have to get rid of that cramp. He's going to be have to be on top of his game if he wants to beat John Force, who's already looking for his fourth Big Bud win. Cruz, you're ready, buddy. Maybe a $100,000 payday if you can get past that guy. The Big Bud Shootout. There's the two cars. John Force, the Castrol GTX machine in the near lane, and Cruz Pedregon, the McDonald's crew, in the far lane. Larry Frazier with the bottle in hand, ready to turn the motor over. The big 6,000 horsepower motors come roaring to life. How big of a key is lane choice going to be, Frank?
Well, I think that these crews know exactly what's going on. I don't, at this point, think lane choice is going to be a big issue, but I'll tell you, these guys are really excited now. You know, there's not very many jobs where they measure your ability to perform by 100th of a second, and if you don't do it right by 100th of a second, you can lose yourself $100,000.
Couple of $100,000 burnouts. How's the weather conditions down there, Bob? Is it cooled down?
No, it's really not any better than it was earlier in the day. A couple of quick things. Both of the crew chiefs think the track is pretty even on both sides. I don't think lane choice is a factor. I think we're going to go back to what we said in the second round when the two Castrol cars met. I just think John Force has too much talent and too much race car here for anybody else in the field right now. He's the #1 qualifier, as you guys mentioned here. He's been in the 4-second range. He's a money player. Cruz needs to get a good run, needs to stay away from beating himself, and even if he does all that, I'm not sure he can take out the green car.
Well, let's face it, guys, these are the two best running car teams in the world today, but one is just a little bit better than the other, and that is John Force. If they run according to form, Force will beat Cruz by about a car length, probably a 498, 499, maybe a 5 flat. If John makes the slightest mistake, a little bobble, Cruz will nose him out.
Don't forget, John Force is going for his 4th Big Bud Shootout win. Cruz still looking for his 1st.
You know, everybody talks about somebody winning by 500ths or a 10th of a second. In drag racing, we really get used to that as being a long time. But I'll tell you, in real life, a second is a short period of time, and it's just incredible how close the competition is when you take cars like this. They're so volatile, they're so fast, there's so much power, there's so many things that can happen, and have them run within a few hundredths of a second of each other. That's really a close drag race.
I think the key also to John Force this year is he's had the luck. He has really been on top of his game, and sometimes, as they say, you'd rather be lucky than good, as Larry Frazier puts Cruiser into the lights. Force is ready, you know, big money on the line. He is going to be on top of his game. I think it's going to take at least a low 5-0 to get the win. To a losing 510. John Force, 306 miles an hour. I don't care if it's luck. I don't care if it's the crew. I don't care what it is. He's got $100,000, Bob.
Austin, you boys are bad.
Well, been having one heck of a season here. Myself, Bernie Federley, John Medlin, John Force, our sponsors, everybody's doing a great job, and we're just keeping our act together one round at a time.
This is only half of the pair you'd like to get today and tomorrow. That'd really make it a nice weekend.
You bet your life it would be, and like just one round at a time, we'll see what we can do.
Another round, another 100 grand. Boys, back to you.
Let's take one more look at it.
You know, Cruz did everything he could. He had a 200ths of a second advantage on the starting line, but you just can't get away from the power that Austin Coyle makes. And, you know, Austin had a plenty big smile there because he gets a little percentage of whatever that car makes on that track, so he's smiling for more than one reason.
I'm sure it's just a little percentage. And look at Austin. Watch the reaction. Medlin's happier than Coyle is. Look
Coyle just about lost his toothpick.
Well, he's got all the toothpicks he can stand up. I wonder how many toothpicks you can get for 100 grand, Steve.
Well, I'm sure you could get a lot of gold ones for 100 grand. John, that was just a fantastic way to end the Big Bud Shootout.
I don't know what she ran. She was running good, and, you know, she went out there and big money up with Bud, 100 grand, and a lot of things happened this week, and it's kind of strange, Steve, but excited anytime you can beat Cruz.
Indeed, a beautiful trophy from Budweiser. Karen Holschlag here to present it. We'll be back to wrap it up from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Stay with us, everyone. The excitement of the Big Bud Shootout isn't quite over yet.
Commercial transportation for this broadcast has been brought to you by Ryder, the official transportation company for Opryland. Welcome back, everybody, to the Big Go here at IRP. The Big Bud Shootout is over. Force, big winner today, but still tomorrow.
Well, yeah, I know. You got to have that performance 2 days in a row, and he's going to enjoy this, and then he's got to prove himself again tomorrow.
And if he can win tomorrow, there's also $50,000 up for grabs, so you don't want to miss any of that or any of our 3 hours of live coverage from the U.S. Nationals. It will all take place tomorrow right here live on TNN Motorsports. Nobody brings you NHRA drag racing closer than we do. 3 hours tomorrow at 4:30. For Frank Hawley and Bob Fry and Steve Evans, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long, everybody, from IRP. The Big Bud Shootout has been a production of Diamond P Sports and the Nashville Network, leaders in live motorsports television.